Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 919 and Doubleshot 813. I got two Batman trades. One I own, the other one is a library trade. Okay. First up, it's a trade that starts off a story that's basically celebrating the anniversary of a story that came out in 1983. What trade is this? This is Batman Prelude to Knightfall. Yep, this collects the Batman Adventures of Bane one shot, along with Batman 484 to 491 and Detective Comics 654 to 658. Yep. Now, up until this trade came out last year, here's kind of, I think it was last year this came out, right? Because I believe so. Let me check this just to be sure. Yeah, up until this trade came out last year, here is the thing about this. With the exception of the Avengers having one shot, the Prelude issues were never after they initially came back in the 90s, they never reprinted in trade. Which is kind of weird. I know 491 was collected in trade, and the original Knightfall trades were released back in the late 90s, but not the rest of the issues. Nope, they were not. They were not released at all. As for why, I have no idea why. I actually spoke to Chuck Dixon about it. He's actually quite happy with the fact that Prelude issues are actually collected because he worked on these issues. He worked on the Detective Comics issues. Yep, him and Doug Moak wrote the issues in here. Chuck Dixon wrote the Detective Comics issues and the Batman Adventures of Bane one-shots. Doug Moak did the issues of Batman. Yep. And here are the artists for the issue. We have Graham Nolan, Tom Greenberg, the late Jim Aparo, Michael Netzer, and Tom Mandrake. Yep. The cover art in here is done by Kelly Jones and Alan Piercy. Yeah. First, let's talk about the Adventures of Bane one shot, which is simply put not only the first appearance of Bane, but also his backstory. Yeah, it's quite interesting where he was born in a prison, and apparently he's there because he's serving his father's sentence. Because apparently his father died before he could serve his sentence. Which, I have no idea why in the world this country's laws work this way. Oh yeah, I should point out though that this country that he's from actually was a place created by Danny O'Neill in the pages of The Question. Yep. So Danny O'Neill had a hand sort of in the creation of Bane. He also created the drug Venom that he's known for using. Though the one-shot itself basically details like not only his backstory, his fascination with the city of Gotham, and he's told about Batman, and he eventually breaks out of the prison, kills the warden by feeding to the sharks, and also gives him his teddy bear. Yeah, that's the thing about Bane. He actually had a teddy bear when he was growing up. And here's kind of the weird thing about the teddy bear. If you read any any comic featuring Bane after his day appearance, with the exception of flashbacks, this bear has never made an appearance ever again, except for appearing in it appeared in Batman Arkham Asylum, and I believe it did also appear in Batman Arkham Knight. But that's it. That's the only appearances this bear has made aside from this. So he goes to Gotham, and you see toward the end of the issue, we see the first meeting of Batman and Bane. Not the first time they fight. No, they don't fight in this issue. They just see each other, and they briefly talk, and then he gets away. Of course, Bane himself is responsible for killing one of the Batman villains at the start of the actual crossover itself. Then we deal with stuff with Black Mask. Yeah, this actually is sort of a follow-up to his first appearance. Well, follow-up to his first storyline, so why not? Of course, Doug Moak created this character, so yeah, it makes perfect sense. Eventually, I'll think about the Janus Corporation, which he used to be part of, and the fact he was Roman Sialis. As a matter of fact, Roman Sialis being Black Mask, apparently that was public knowledge in the comics, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I would think, though, Black Mask, being a crime boss, he would keep his identity a secret, but nope. Apparently, his identity was publicly known. Yeah, it became publicly known after Batman outed him, and he was Black Mask for years. Up until Catwoman killed him off during Will Pfeiffer's run of the Catwoman title. How did he kill him? Shoot him in the head. All because of what he did to her sister. Yep. And he remained dead, though he was briefly brought back in Black as Night. He remained dead up until the New 52 reboot in 2011. Yep. We also see this is not only the first appearance of Bane here, but also his Benjamin Bird and a few members who actually did return in the pages of I Am Bane, which is a really awesome story, which is a love letter to this storyline. We also get a chance to see the Joker and Scarecrow pop up in here. They don't do very much, but yeah. But this is really good. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. I'm so happy the tissue's finally collected and trade. I mean, I've been reading DC Comics now for at least 9 years now, and I actually do enjoy reading these issues. You also get a chance seeing here there's a couple of first meetings aside from Batman and Bane. We also see Azrael meeting Robin to Tim Drake for the first time. We see the first encounter between Killer Croc and Bane. As a matter of fact, they fight twice in the storyline. Yeah. Really good. Alright. Next up is the first volume of Batman Earth 1, written by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Yep. This is the start of... This is basically one of the Earth 1 one-shot graphic novels. The only reason why I put it on it, guess, well, it's got a spine on it, and it's basically put on a shelf. The thing with this book is that they give some elements of certain characters, but some different, like, for instance, like, you can clearly tell on the cover that's... Some of you, I actually thought when I first saw this image, I actually thought that was Thomas Wayne standing behind Bruce Wayne. Nope, that's actually Alfred. Yeah, and apparently he's an amputee, which is different in this continuity. And he didn't originally start as a butler. He originally was hired, like, later on. Yeah. Though, at least they had the whole thing of... Also, they had the whole thing of how the Waynes were killed was part of a big conspiracy. Where, here's the thing, in other continuities, he's usually killed, the Waynes are usually killed by some random mugger. Here, apparently, it was a plan conceived by the Penguin. Because he's running against him as mayor. Yeah, because he was so scared that Thomas Wayne would win because of how popular he is, he basically ordered this man's death. Of course, this is not revealed until the end of the storyline. Also, Harry Bullock is in here. Yep, and he is thin. He's not the only one who's thin. The Penguin usually depicted as an overweight guy. He's thin as well. And there was an expression Batman describes Penguin that you got fat and rich over these years. If you look at the Penguin, how he's drawn, no, he's not overweight. He's pretty thin. Yeah, he's pretty thin for a man his age. Oh yeah, they do have one original villain in here that's called the Birthday Boy. Yeah, and apparently, get this, he was actually on the Penguin's payroll. Okay, why in the world would a public figure like a mayor have a serial killer on his payroll? Also, apparently, Jim Gordon is... Man, he's going to be so different he is in picking other continuities. I mean, there's like corruption, he has to deal with it. And Harry Bullock, who basically was... Get this, unlike in other continuities, he's usually depicted as a guy who's usually corrupt or on the take, but eventually turns over new leaf later on. Apparently, Harry Bullock in this continuity decides to... The way Jeff Johns writes him is that he was never corrupt in the first place. He's actually quite a nice guy. He was on TV, Hollywood Detective, which got canceled 5 seasons. And he actually does some stuff that's very similar to that of Jim Gordon from the way he was depicted back in year 1. Yeah, the way Frank Miller's year 1. Where he's like... He does this whole smoochy thing, the whole thing of hitting on women. Yeah, as far as I can tell, Harry Bullock never did this in any continuity at all, where he would frequently hit on women. Yeah. I'm trying to think, though. I can't think of any Batman character who's done this in the past. This is very original for Batman characters. Like, he just spots a female detective. He says, "Hey, gorgeous, where can I find some cold cases?" Because, well, he needs something to do. Because, well, they couldn't arrest this one guy, Axe, who apparently was beating a woman. And apparently, they wasn't allowed to be arresting him at all. And then, once, of course, the Penguin was taken down. Oh, and by the way, Penguin dies in here. How does he die? He gets shot by Alfred. And apparently, he shot him so hard, he basically launched him out of a window and crashed. Is Alfred charged with the murder of the mayor? Nope, he isn't. In fact, nothing is done with that. I thought was a little weird. I mean, I think they kind of ruled his death maybe suicide, but nothing much is dealt with it. But they do take out his cronies. And of course, Jim Gordon takes on that one guy from earlier, Axe. That's his name, Axe. And he says, "What are you doing? I'm arresting him. You can't do that." And Jim Gordon points out, though, "Who says I can't arrest him?" And he says, "I'm going to get a clean shirt." And everyone's like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Do they not know who Jim Gordon is?" And also, Barbara Gordon's in here. She's not Batgirl, but they do tease her becoming Batgirl. But here's the thing. Does she become Batgirl in the next Flame? Nope, she doesn't. But this is probably stuff for a later thing. But here's the thing. This particular book came out in 2010. Was it 2010? No, it was 2012. Yeah, this book roughly came out 7 years ago. And Volume 2 only came out just a couple years prior. And this I accept why this takes so long to come out, because it's a one-shot graphic novel, and I'm sure Jeff Johns probably needs time with this thing. But I wouldn't mind a mini-series. Instead of just doing these one-shots, why not do an actual series? Might be interesting. Yeah. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9.5. I think it's really, really good. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my reviews of One Piece, Boruto, another Comic Corner, and a review of the newest chapter of the Black Butler manga. Okay? But see you next review. Bye.